Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are live. We are streaming another Lucha-Cast.
How's it going, people? Oh, it's been a week, hasn't it? SSGD.
Oh, tell me about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm still.
I
didn't
could,
actually.
if you really want me to, I could.
Actually, just before we started here, I feel as though I should have told you this. I went for a little walk, or like a 2-hour walk, and I'm sort of still getting over it right now. But I'll be fine. I'll get through this. I'm sure we will.
Exercise, no.
Exercise, the great American tradition. Oh wait, no, it isn't.
You know what your body says after exercise? Feed me.
Yes, actually it does.
Alright, so I see we have a topic for today.
Yes, we do. Today's topic is everyone's favorite Cartoon Network original, Dexter's Laboratory.
Dexter's who now?
God damn it, Ultima, you are not a child of the new millennium. You know what Dexter's Laboratory is, and if you don't, I'm going to slap you.
Is that the show about the serial killer? Ow!
Wow, my internet's slow today.
At least it's not Buzz internet. It lives like.
The funny thing is, you would be asking him, did you accidentally slap the tin can?
And then it's just, shut up!
I said that to G, because G's been having problems with his internet recently.
Again?
He's put it down to his camera when he's put on face cam for his streams. Apparently, for whatever reason, it doesn't hold up. So it eats up all the bandwidth what he's putting through for his streams. So he's had to cut it from future streaming. And I replied back to him at that moment when you realise that his internet is faster than your internet.
Oh, ouch, man!
No wonder he ignores me.
But you know, okay, you know what Vaz Tin Can isn't? Dexter's Laboratory. So tell me, where do we begin?
Oh, where to begin? I think we should do a little history lesson on how Dexter's Laboratory came to be originally. So, the year is 1995, and Hanna-Barbera's production studios, they're producing stuff, like I think one of the latest cartoons that they put out there was SWAT Cats. And while SWAT Cats is doing brilliantly for their production values, they need to get a little bit more in, because this is at the point where the production and the actual revenue what they got coming in, it's doing okay, but it's only doing enough for them. So the studios that they have may potentially be closing at this point.
Ooh.
So interestingly enough, they actually go down the Steam route, where they open themselves up for newcomers to come into the studios and actually produce 5 to 7 minute footage of what they want to get across onto the network.
Mm-hmm. Basically, what's your idea?
Yeah, basically they work like indie productions, but with cartoons as opposed to games.
Yeah.
So, what was the name that came up with for Cartoon Network? World Toon Premiere. It was a short Sunday gap where they would show 3 all new cartoons from these creators who they brought in to work within the studios, and it would be up to the public viewing them to cast their vote on what they would like to see, to watch again in the future, or to actually give them the green light, if you will.
Dial 1-888 cartoons to cast your vote now.
Essentially, yes. It was interesting as well, because this was at the birth of AOL, And they were actually asking people who had online connection to post their votes online.
Press 1 to say yes. Press 2 to say no. Press 3 to say burn, goddammit, burn.
But yeah, during World Tour premieres, whilst they showed the original pilot of Dexter's Lab, and good lord, the amount of feedback that they got for this show, not only from kids but from actual adults watching the show as well. The
It doesn't have Sonic in it. It's bad boy
zeros. What's a zero?
Operator?
They loved it because specifically the adults loved it because it was that nice sort of combination of keeping it to the modern age, but having nice throwbacks to the sort of like 50s and 60s jokes what you would see in cartoons.
Yeah.
It
was a mashup that worked.
Yeah, it was a nice package essentially because the creators behind the show who had grown up with the cartoons from like your Tom and Jerry's and your Warner Brothers animations. They brought the influence into Dexter's Lab, and it was that nice sort of homage to them.
Yeah, it's basically kind of Tiny Toons versus old cartoons. It's like it's still Warner Brothers, but you got new people working on it, but they're still just harkening back to old stuff.
Precisely. So with the Hanna-Barbera production studios behind them, this is where a lot of the original Cartoon Network cartoons came in. Dexter's Lab, from the information that I got, was the very first original Cartoon Network cartoon, which was followed up by things like Powerpuff Girls, Johnny Bravo, Cow and Chicken, Ed, Edd and Eddy, and the list continued on from there.
Right.
Interesting note here with Dexter's Laboratory, because some of this impressed me as well. The actual creationists behind it, it was Dexter's Laboratory was essentially Genndy Tartakovsky's original production and direction for the show.
Okay.
But he got in so many people to actually help him out on the show. Craig McCracken, who you may know for Powerpuff Girls and Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. He got Seth MacFarlane in from Family Guy.
Really?
Yeah, Seth MacFarlane. Yeah, I didn't know this, but some of the episodes were actually written by Seth MacFarlane.
That makes a bit of sense.
Yeah.
There were sucky ones.
Another animator who worked on the show, Butch Hartman, who worked on Family Odd Parents, Danny Phantom.
Oh God.
What's up?
All right, so you know the title of the stream, right?
Yeah.
All I can think of is the Stewie voice. That's all you could say. That's all you could say. Stewie's the only voice I know.
Dexter's a cookie.
Cookies.
Yeah, Rob Rosenti was on there as well as part of the creations behind Dexter's Lab, and he went on to create My Life as a Teenage Robot. So it's impressive because this was sort of like the foundation for all these creators to work on Dexter's Lab, build up Dexter's Lab, show to the world that Dexter's Lab is like one of the top priority shows to watch, even for on a Cartoon Network, and then go from there, because that's what helped them launch themselves.
Oh yeah, it is a vital point of Cartoon Network and the future, basically. If this didn't happen, who knows what would have? Alternate history time.
Hello, I'm AOL, and I still exist. No!
Oh, it's horrible. You've got mail. You've got 50 years of mail.
Hello, I'm Ted Turner, and I'm old. Even back then, I was old.
Well, nothing's changed.
Goes here.
Right, but so basically a big-ass jumping point is what Dexter's Lab turned out to be.
Oh, yeah. it was one of them priority shows of if you could get a position to work on it, even if you were like a voice actor, it was a leap and bound because that's what Dexter's Lab became. It became something of an entity in relation to Cartoon Network.
Oh yeah.
It was something that every studio and promotion pointed at, just like, oh yeah, Dexter's Lab, that actually got a lot of revenue coming in for it.
Hmm.
And you actually worked on one of the shows or one of the episodes. Okay, yeah, coming in.
Well, we'll give it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
And years later, and you're the CEO. Oh man, that was a thing about Dexter's Lab is when you go back and you think about every single character they had in there, holy shit, those characters had personality.
Well, yeah,
They,
that was the biggest influence to the show because it was just like, holy crap! It wasn't just some sort of generic character. Just like take the main star here, Dexter, boy genius of science. It wasn't a
Mhm.
case of I am going to be the boring stereotype dork. It was a case of no, Dexter wanted to create everything from the simplistics of energy molecule neutrons to giant fucking badass robots.
Mhm. Yeah, I
And
mean he was the creator of anything and everything. He literally wanted to basically rebuild anything from scratch.
yeah, precisely, because everything in Dexter's sort of build of becoming like the great world's greatest scientist was it always had to be bigger, better, badder, stronger, and that
Mhm.
was Dexter's all over because it related back to his sort of characteristics. He was angry if he wasn't perfect or to
Yeah,
his best of
that's exactly
capabilities,
it.
and I think Dexter was like 10 years old for a 10-year-old child to sort of like
Mhm.
this build up of motivation and that sort of eluxis of the downfall when things go terrible for him and for him to like get really
Mhm.
angry and annoyed.
Oh
It was a
yeah.
nice characteristic to it because it was something different. Because it's that sort of thing like you never expect that from a 10-year-old. But it's
No, no,
amusing to
you
hear it
really
from like
don't.
a 10-year-old perspective.
Yeah, basically, he is a 10-year-old while at the same time being somewhat of an adult.
Yeah,
It's like having both mashed into the same thing, but not being in puberty.
yeah. If you want to put it like that.
Yeah. I mean, he's got the ambitions of an adult, but at times he still has that mind of a child.
Hmm. Yeah, again, I guess that's one of his like biggest setbacks because
Hmm.
as a child, no one listens to you when you're trying to say something important. And it's
Oh,
fun,
I mean,
and it's surprising because even as a child, what they have to say on sort of specific things, even like politics, for example,
yes.
it's it's amazing how true they are to the actual facts of life, and yet they completely ignore. It's just like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna be told what what a 5-year-old thinks on politics. Like that's gotta make any difference. Go,
Well,
go back to your candy store, kids sort of thing.
yeah. Oh, and the funniest thing was, a lot of their episodes did fall around the whole, he is a child. Here's a what. But even being a child, he was always trying to overcome the limitations of childhood.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, I remember two episodes in particular. I think there was one involving his height, and there was one involving the fact that he had to go to bed early, so he wanted to make himself
Yeah,
older, and he
the
ended up making himself too old.
two of my favorite episodes of them.
Hmm.
The one that you first mentioned, the one where he had to make himself taller,
Hmm.
was again it takes back to sort of Dexter still a child because they actually take him on a fun fair ride, a carnival,
Yeah.
and that's the only thing what Dexter only wanted to do was he wanted to go on the wildest craziest ride that was there, but of course because Dexter's 4 foot nothing, and you have to be like 6 foot or taller or something.
Hmm.
It was that sort of limit to Dexter again because if even for a 10-year-old child, Dexter's pretty small.
Oh yeah, he's a shrimp, and Dee Dee is always making use of that against him.
Oh yes, It's always that sort of
Hmm.
there was a scene in the actual that cartoon as well where Dexter's trying to get the attention of his parents and Dee Dee, and it just does this giant pan out where his parents and Dee Dee are just like standing right
This
above
is
him.
looming.
Yeah, just looming over him, and he's just like, "Sorry, what's that, Dexter? I can't hear." And it just cuts to Dexter, and all you hear is just like very silent voice.
Oh, how true it is.
But yeah, the other one that you mentioned about where Dexter wanted to stay up to watch late night
Hmm.
movies, which
Yep.
is which is weird again because I know Dee Dee's the older child from the family, but don't technically shouldn't she be going to bed as well?
Technically, well, that's a weird thing. In certain families, it really does depend on age. Like, if you're older, you're allowed to stay up more because your parents are starting to give you a little bit more responsibility over yourself.
Hmm.
Whereas, if you're young, no, you have that hard and fast bedtime that you need to abide by.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose I can see on that sort of element of things. But again,
Hmm.
it just sort of when you're thinking back to it, it was a little bit weird. It's just like okay, what the Dee Dee's like 12 in comparison to Dexter's 10.
Yeah,
I'm
something
not
like that.
sure the actual ages of the characters, by the way. I'm just sort of going on
Mhm.
guesstimations.
It's not. It doesn't seem like much of an age difference. So
Hmm.
it's one of those things where it really shouldn't be that big of a difference between them. But
But again, it was just interesting to see sort of Dexter go with his road just to watch late night movies and
just
he,
overdoing it as usual.
well, it wasn't. Again, it wasn't his fault. It's just that Dee Dee walked into
Dee Dee
his.
fucks with stuff.
Yeah, Dee Dee just turned the dial to grand old age, and Dexter comes out
Hmm.
as Grandpa.
Yep. Which he immediately says like, "Ah, Grandpa!"
Yeah, I'm not Grandpa.
And and the rest of the family's like it. And so he gets to see what he has to look forward to in old age.
Hmm. But it was nice how they played the sort of like the joke up of the old man because Dexter
Hmm.
has to walk around, like a little bit crippled with the walking stick. He can only shuffle so many feet every so
Yes.
seconds. There's a
Hmm.
brilliant
Yeah.
scene. There's a brilliant scene when he's trying to get down the stairs, and it's only like a flight of what 12 steps,
Hmm.
and he does that SpongeBob SquarePants, like 2 hours later,
Exactly.
and he gets to the
And
very
then
bottom. He's
and
just like, "Who put these
yeah.
stairs there?"
Well, not only that, but doesn't he have to like go right back up him after something like that?
Yeah.
I can't remember if they pull that because that's exactly something that they would pull.
Hmm.
And I remember the dinner time bit where it's basically this, they're pretty much serving him slop.
Well, he had to because
Yeah,
it
he
shows
can't
the scene
chew.
where Dexter's struggling to chew his food and pick it up, so they have to turn it to slop. And Dexter's obviously like, "Come on, you stop! Why are you doing this? You treat him like a child." And then he eats it and just like, "You know what? This ain't bad."
Hmm. Yep. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, and so he finally gets to stay up late for the movies and everything, and he
He
falls
falls
asleep
asleep, of course.
because he's old.
No, Grandpa. Uh,
Yep, it was a wonderful flagration of things, conflagration, whatever.
Carrying on with characters, we'll move on to the second biggest
Star.
main star, Dee Dee.
Oh, Dee.
What a, what
I
a
fucking hated Dee Dee.
what a weird sort of balance at times for Dee because of
Hmm.
course when you see Dee for the first time in the sort of like the earlier episodes, she comes off as a sort of I'm just here to be a nuisance.
Hmm.
But later on,
But the,
you start to realize she's only being a nuisance because it's that sister brother rivalry.
hmm
It's not a case.
it is.
It's not a case of she's doing it on purpose as such. It's just a case of that's how she sees life. She's a free spirit. She wants to have
Hmm.
fun no matter where she's at. She doesn't understand the concepts of seriousness, but that ain't gonna stop her.
Exactly. And interestingly enough, Dexter, while most of the time he's trying to get just get rid of her, get her out of his lab and stuff like that.
Hmm?
There are times it's interesting dynamic because there are times where he is literally trying to kill her too.
Well, I wouldn't say to the point of killing her, but
Uh,
but sort of maybe go a little bit over violent at
to
times, but to a point of where he realizes himself like, hold on, no, maybe this ain't such a great idea.
mm. Well, okay, yeah, not actually trying to kill her, but if he wasn't paying attention or if he didn't stop himself, yes, she would die.
Mm,
I specifically remember one episode actually. This was one of the most poignant episodes. It was this is basically time travel one. In the very beginning you see his kind of jelly monster and everything. Dexter's in his mech. He's zapping away at beams are going right through. He can't do anything,
hmm.
and it eats him. And gives Dee Dee this note and sends her back in time to warn him not to open this gate to some other dimension.
Yep.
She goes back in time, meets herself in the past, has a good old time and everything, and turns out to try to get rid of her, Dexter opens the gate to throw her into his alternate dimension
Yep. That's
to literally just get rid of her.
yeah.
And the cycle just keeps repeating. But it was one of those things where I kind of had my first real look at the kind of paradox effect of time travel and stuff like that, and it made a big impact on me.
Hmm. Yeah, it's that idea of there's many concepts for time travel because the most common time travel theory is you can go back in time and you'll land at a specific point where it's that certain age wherever you may have traveled to, and sort of like the clothing styles, the sort of generalistics of human beings, sort of acting a little bit
Hmm.
differently to a more modern day approach that we have now. And then
Yeah.
there's theories where it's a case of if you were to travel back in time because the planet's always moving and the Polaris and everything else in between. If you were to go back in time, you would only end up in space because the planet's moved.
Yeah. You'd have to have control over both the space and the time that you're moving into.
Yes.
Hmm.
So time travel, as easy as it may sound, it's sometimes the more in
Oh,
depth
not
you
at
get,
all.
the more in depth you get into it, the more complex it becomes,
Hmm.
and it is vastly complex.
Yep.
Um,
And getting back to the episode though, it was also one of the more serious episodes too, just overall. There were the lighthearted points, but no, just in the end, it ended up being a very serious thing because you basically see, after Dexter sends her back in time, he's just like, I'm doomed, and there's like these little things popping in his body, they're
yeah, and start
starting to
just eating
kind of
them. Yeah,
digest him and stuff. I was like, that's kind of creepy.
it's weird actually how sort of a bit dark at times that Dexter's laboratory episodes actually became.
Hmm.
I was going to get to one point again where Dexter actually manages to get rid of Dee because it makes contact with aliens
Yeah.
in one episode, and as a sort of trade for technology, he trades in Dee for this. I think it's like a DNA replication, or like an egg or
Hmm.
something.
Yeah.
And he thinks, what a brilliant trade. I get rid of my stupid sister Dee Dee, and I get this, I get something to work in relation to science and become, the greatest scientist ever known. And whilst he's working away in his lab, he has like these sudden flashes of Dee Dee being in trouble,
Hmm.
where she could be like being probed or mutilated by the aliens who's just taken her. And that's not the case because it keeps coming back to Dee Dee, where it's that case of she's just having fun again on a UFO destroying stuff.
Yeah, destroying everything and pissing the aliens off more and more and stuff like that.
Yeah, but
I
Dexter's
think I
sort of
remember the episode.
yeah, but Dexter's just sort of in that sort of denial of just like what have I done sort of thing.
Exactly. He's starting to have his conscience come through.
The creepy, the
That, you know,
one of the creepiest scenes was is when Dexter's mom calls him down for dinner, and he looks at his dinner and it's just like a steak and bits
Hmm.
of broccoli next to it, and he just has this like weird flash where the steak becomes Dee Dee's head, and then he's
Dee Dee's head.
just this fork coming down towards her face,
Yeah, I think I remember that now.
and that was his sort of last straw. It's just like, no, I'm going to go up there. I'm not going to save.
Hmm.
So you know,
Which is
he breaks out the old Max, flies up there, breaks on board of the UFO, and he goes, right, give me back my sister. And the aliens are just like, hooray! And just
take
like,
her, take her.
take her. And
Wonderful.
it just ends off on where Dexter's flying back with Dee Dee in the ship, and Dee's just like, what does this button do? What does this button do? And what does this button do? Instead of Dexter just like, stop, he's just like, Dexter just go, ah, Blitz, sort of thing.
um, okay, so we'll take a break from the characters for a second.
Okay.
Okay, if you could pick one thing, what is the earliest thing that you remember about Dexter?
The earliest thing, what I remember about Dexter, it
Like
was
when the moment you saw it, what was the thing that you remember?
okay. The first time I ever came across Dexter was early morning. I think it was
Hmm.
Monday, early Monday morning, and this was during the breakfast hour.
Yeah.
And we had like this little interval thing in the UK called the Super Chunk breakfast hour that lasted
Hmm.
and well, I say breakfast hour. I think it actually lasted like an hour and a half, and it was Cartoon Network's three original cartoons: Dexter's Lab, Johnny Bravo, and Cow and Chicken.
Okay.
And that was from 7 a.m. onwards. And
Interesting.
when I was watching this sort of the production values and sort of like the advertisements for each of these shows that were coming up, I was interested because there were all the funny, like some of the funnier clips from the earlier episodes in variation, and it's just like, okay, I need to make way to make sure that I finish breakfast early on these days so I can watch this super chunk hour and a half of
Hmm.
cartoons, especially specifically with Dexter's
Yeah.
Lab and stuff. Because again, I was just mesmerized with what they were pitching to us, and I loved cartoons, and I loved Cartoon Network because it was that old school Hanna-Barbera series of things. And at the time, I didn't get to watch an awful lot of Hanna-Barbera cartoons, but Cartoon Network was that outlet to watch a lot of
For them.
yeah
Yeah.
for them. And I can't remember specifically which episodes of Dexter's Lab was the very first one I watched. I know it was one of the very earlier ones. In fact, tell a lie, I think I know which one it was now. I think it's the one where Dee Dee grows into a 70-foot tall monster by
Okay.
accident. By accident. It's where the series, the episode starts where Dee Dee's obviously annoying Dexter. Dexter comes up with the plan of, what if I make her drink this to shut her up? It was specifically meant to be like shut up juice, and he sells it
Hmm.
off like apple juice to her. But he accidentally uses the wrong vial, which is the monster juice.
Yeah.
And oh, hello to the people coming in, by the way.
Oh, hi, people. Yes. Sorry.
And he passes it over. Diddy drinks it because it's just like, ooh, liquidy stuff. And a
Hmm.
mouth sort of like starts to shrivel up and shut up, and Dexter's just like, yes, finally I can shut it up. And then suddenly, as soon as he thinks he got one over on her, her mouth just grows into this giant wide ass mouth, and it's just like
Hmm.
loud noises.
Loud people.
Oh. And she starts growing
uh,
taller and bigger, and because this is Dee Dee, she sees the world not as a threat, but she starts picking up like cars and using them as like little toy cars, and just going vroom vroom around in the city area.
yeah. Well, she still sees things very much as a child.
Child, yeah.
Mhm. Um.
Um, and the episode sort of builds off where Dexter uses his own monster juice on him as well, so Dexter becomes a monster to try and fight off against Dee Dee, because Dee Dee's now seen on the national news as the giant monster threat. And Dexter thinks, oh,
Hmm.
time, a moment for me to become famous, because if I stop Dee Dee, you know, I literally get all the certification. I say, I'm a giant scientist, and I become sort of like the future of the for the new world. Of course, DD's always supposed to get one over on Dexter, so that never happened.
Of course.
And it's just one of them
Let's see.
episodes that just ends off on where Dexter's just sort of trapped by DD and can't do anything. It's just helpless, and the episode ends, and it's just like, okay, I enjoyed that. That was fun.
Mhm. But okay, but for your actual first, like the first sighting of Dexter in the episode, did you catch it from the beginning, or did you come in the middle of it, or
Oh,
what?
I caught it from the beginning. I was lucky to catch it from the
Mhm.
actual beginning.
So what about it was the like one thing that ended up sticking in your mind, if you will? Like
Um,
it was a line, was it just the the animation style? What was it?
Again, it was the animation style. I just love the whole atmosphere what they
So,
built for Dexter's actual lab,
hmm
because it was that like very nice blue metallic chrome in it. But although in scenes it looked like when they were just like focusing on one area, it looked very sort of shrouded in, tiny. But when it would cut away from it and it would show like the sort of depths of how far the lab would actually go, it was pretty
hmm
insane.
Yep. My first experience. I believe I've said it before. It was during the summer where they were running cartoon, and my mom was basically doing house care for some lady who had a stroke and everything.
Hmm.
And so we were sitting in their basement watching things on TV. And I turn over to Cartoon Network, and I turn over just in time to hear the line, "You are stupid. You are stupid."
Stupid.
I don't forget. You
You're
are stupid.
stupid. That
My
was
sister
brilliant.
and I were saying that for months
Mm.
off of just seeing that little bit of the episode and watching everything subsequently as well. Just that was what stopped me on that channel, and that was what we continue to watch every chance we got. I don't even remember what the episode was. All I do remember is just that line, and that stuck in my mind.
If it's the episode that I'm thinking about, because I found out he'd done it twice. It was an earlier episode where he'd done it, and then there was one which the episode was called Dexter and Computerist Get Mandark, which is a very interesting episode because the actual story was built around a child who sent in a tape recording to the actual studios
Hmm,
of him telling Dexter's story.
interesting.
Um, and the production cast loved it so much that they've actually done it in sort of like not the traditional Dexter's Lab style, but sort of like a more childish crayon
Crayon,
scrolling. But it just
nice.
fits so well with it. And
Yeah,
kudos to that kid because my god, he could do a brilliant Dexter voice.
yeah, that's amazing then.
And
But like, so
it's just even like the little sort of side jokes that they popped in as well. Because when the child finishes going, "You are stupid," you can hear his mum on the original tape recording in the background saying, "Now do Mandark's voice," and they do this like little scrolling of his mum popping up from the corner, just like, "Now do Mandark's voice."
and that's what I love about a lot of people at Cartoon Network is they'll catch things like that in the background and they'll do things with it.
Oh yeah.
Mm. But anyway, going back to it, it's just it's one of those things about a show where you hear it and you just can't forget it. It's that thing stays with you for the rest of your life. But he only did it twice, you say, in the
Um,
entire series?
in the entire series, once which was legit, and the other time again was when this child was
Yeah.
imitating Dexter. It just showed how popular of a catchphrase it became.
Yeah, it must have been the episode then because I don't remember any crayons when I watched that one.
Oh, it,
So
it,
it had to have been the original episode where he'd said it.
yeah, but yeah, it's just a classic line.
Man. Okay, so we've had our first experiences with them and everything. Let's go back to the characters. Dad.
Um, your sort of everyday suburban
Hmm.
father, but
Yeah,
with a quirk to him.
exactly. They all had a quirk. What was his quirk?
His quirk was he was a giant sports fan. He loved
Hmm.
his sports. It wasn't a
Yes,
case of
indeed.
it was your typical American all-star football dad. No, this was a guy who loved every single if it was a type of sport or an element of sport, he would be a fan of it.
Yeah, he liked it.
He loved it. And funnily enough, that's what a lot of the episodes again were based off with Dexter. There was an episode of where it was during the new summer for that year, where his
Hmm.
father wanted to get out to the swimming lake but he wanted to take Dexter along with him for that father-son bond.
Yeah.
And the whole episode revolved around Dexter sort of getting to a point of he didn't want to go at first because again he wasn't warned about it, and he's just like, dude, I want to do science stuff. Uh, to the point of where Dexter is actually trying to help his dad get there at, at a precise time. I think it was like 6 o'clock in the morning,
Hmm.
and they start building up these elements of okay, what can we throw in as sort of like a barrier to stop them for that specific day. And there was things like the car wouldn't start, the fishing gear wasn't all there, the
Right.
roads were blocked off. And it just kept getting funnier and funnier to a point of they almost get there at one point, but they were beaten by another father and son.
Oh God, I think I remember that now.
Yeah, and then the very ending part is just like Dexter and his father are so demented on being there first that they actually do a speed race with this father and son who's trying to get there again. To a point of where they're trading paint on the car.
Yes. Oh, good times, good times.
And it's not a case of they actually rent out a boat, it's just they just fly in with the car and they use the sort
The
of
car.
turned off the car to fish off, and it's just like, we've done it some perfect time, and it's just like, I know what you mean, Dad.
Yeah, oddly enough, that was you know, what you remember about the show. You remember the Dexter likes science. Dee Dee's a bitch. That's well, honestly, I mean, at the easiest little bit of it, the first things that comes to mind is that Dexter is your scientist, Dee Dee is the annoying menace who's always destroying everything he does, and
she
then
she does.
no, everything he does.
Oh, sorry.
Dee Dee is destroying everything he
Yeah,
does.
misinterpreted. Sorry.
Unless there was an episode where Dexter turned into a woman, I don't think I remember that one.
Um,
There may have been.
may have
I'm
been.
completely
I
joking
don't
right
know. It
now.
seems like a plot point
But
device.
what I'm getting at is, that was the main focus of the show, and yet they still worked in your day in the life episodes, if you will.
Yeah, they have many of them
Uh, uh,
actually.
uh, yeah,
Day in the life of
you know,
Dexter, Day in the life of Dee Dee, Day in the life of Mandark.
or the dynamic between the families and stuff is, I guess, what I'm getting at.
But yeah,
Um,
there was another infamous episode of Dexter's Dad where, again, it's the sports season's kicked in, and he wants to get Dexter into sports. It didn't matter which sport it
ah,
was. It was just as long as
just
if
something.
yeah, if Dexter was good at that specific sport, then he would be a proud father. And it goes through that this run of where he has to go up against Dee Dee in specific sports like basketball or shot put or
Ah,
or 100 meter dash, and just the influence of jokes here because, for example, with the 100 meter dash, I think they done a Wile E. Coyote joke with it. Um,
I
the ba-
believe it.
yeah, the baseball scene was Dexter gets he gets hit by one of the baseball in the end, and his dad comes over and he goes, and he just pulls out this like wad of food and he goes, taffy.
Oh God, yes.
So like just a throwback to Charlie Brown, but that's how they done it. He's just like, oh, I'm just eating taffy.
Yeah, there are always throwbacks.
Mm.
Throwbacks to fucking everything.
But I know I said the Wile E. Coyote cartoon. There was another one as well where Dee Dee has a new bike and keeps
Mhm.
pestering Dexter by saying "Can't catch me," and it just rolls out where Dexter's sort of building up all these like rocket boots and stuff to try and
Inventions, yes.
keep up with Dee Dee to try and catch us as like a sort of tag your it thing. And again, it's Dexter falls off cliffs, he runs into trees, and Dee Dee's just like meep meep, and just zooming on by and going, "Can't catch me."
That's fantastic. Uh, okay, so how about Mom?
Mom. Again, Mum's interesting because she's seen as that sort of
Perfect
clean.
housewife.
Yeah, has to be clean. Have to be everything clean, everything new, and
Dish
it
gloves.
kitchen.
Always the dish
Yeah,
gloves.
kitchen gloves. Always the pinny on her. It was weird because it didn't matter where she was at. She never dressed for like the occasion. It was always like I have to
Oh,
have my kitchen gloves on me.
all the time. To a point. I remember one of the kind of interstitials, if you will, where it may have been an episode in of itself where it's just Mom goes to the store to pick up new gloves, and there's another housewife there, and
Yeah,
it's
and
like the last box of gloves or something like that.
oh, they love it. Well, it was again, it was like that sort of scene what I mentioned before, with the father and son going fishing. They love to throw in that scene of rivalry of just like out of nowhere,
Hmm.
which, when you think about it, actually, I wouldn't be surprised if that was Seth MacFarlane writing it, because if you think about
Yeah,
it
possibly.
with the giant chicken and Peter
Yeah, I was
Griffin,
just thinking that.
it's very similar now, ain't it?
Oh yeah. Almost to a point. Well, I mean, in that particular thing where with the dishcloth Taylor housewife, did they get into like a kind of like a fighting thing about it?
Yeah,
Like
you had like
almost kung fu style?
yeah. It just went all out on one another. I think it was like I think it was like a sort of combination of mixed martial arts and wrestling what they went into.
Yes, I think so. Over a box of fucking dishcloths.
Close. Yeah.
Oh
Spoiler
my
by the way,
gosh.
Dexter's man won.
Yeah, I remember it. She just I think like they come in and ask her how her day was and everything. Oh, it's just like a normal day for her or something like that.
Mm.
Uh, all right, but I don't remember too much else about her.
She
Uh,
it was that case of, although she was put in that position of mum's place is always the kitchen, and I don't mean anything terrible by that, by the way.
no, no.
Um, they still developed her as that sort of strong, independent woman.
Oh, very much so.
When
Which,
when shit hit the fan for her, she went all out.
mm, and that was kind of different at the time and a little bit new, if you will.
Yeah,
Especially in cartoons, you didn't really see that.
but
I remember she didn't take shit from anybody.
mm, um, oh, one case of episode was where she falls ill, and it's up to the rest of them to try and maintain the house by cleaning up and cooking the food for themselves. Fending for themselves within the boundaries of the house. And it was just interesting to hear Dexter's mom say, like, no, I have to do everything because I know you guys screw it up.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, wasn't that a big thing about the episode? Was they were fucking things up?
yeah, I remember one scene where it's Dee Dee is washing the plates, and
Hmm.
she's faced away over the sink is Dee Dee at the time when all you hear is and her mom just leans over in the side, she's like, oh, finally, someone who's actually doing it right. And then Dee Dee just turns around and she's rubbing two plates together and just like
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's DD for you.
yeah. And just to top it off, she doesn't. She doesn't put them. She doesn't put them away normally. She throws them into the actual cupboards.
Cupboards.
And oh yeah.
Yep. Because if it involves DD, there's probably destruction as well.
Yeah. uh,
uh, so we've covered the main characters in the house. So how about Dexter's rival,
Mandark.
Mandark?
Oh, what an introduction actually to bring in Mandark. Original episode.
Yeah.
The episode starts off as Dexter being shown as the sort of top priority at his own school. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Basically, every teacher he walks on by, his teachers are so fond of him.
Love him.
Yeah, they just love him. And he gets into a science lesson, and he's about to answer a question, and Mandark beats him to it. And he just sort of turns his head and just like, there's no, that's sort of like, there's no one in this class who would have known that answer apart from me. How did he do that? And Mandark sort of starts freaking him out with, yes, Dexter, I did know the answer to that question, and yes, I can read your mind. And just a face on Dexter, just like, oh shit, sort of thing.
Oh my.
So the episode builds around where Dexter has to try and show Mandark that he's of high importance and what stuff that he can do. So he takes Mandark to his lab to show him around, just like, here's all the creations that I can do. Just does not impress Mandark. Mandark's just like,
yeah,
okay, very, cute sort of thing.
And it becomes kind of a one-upmanship contest, and then doesn't it?
Yeah, and he comes to a point of where Mandark just warps into his own laboratory, which is freaking huge in comparison to actual Dexter. I mean, I said before, Dexter's lab was pretty big.
Enormous.
Mandark's sort of like, how did he get all this space? Titanic, yeah.
Yeah.
To which he says, because of your inferior little lab, I demand that you shut it down within 24 hours. Or else you will suffer my wrath of my own lab. And it's a very disheartening scene, because for everything that Dexter's worked upon with science, for him to have to shut it down, specifically when he's talking to his computer, because it's just like, I'm sorry, I have to do this, and the computer just like, it's okay, Dexter, just cuts off.
Yeah, it was a little bit of that dark that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, that's that very sort of just very disheartening moment where you just feel for the character. And it carries on with sort of like the episode where Dexter goes back into school the next day, and typical rainy day. And
of course, everything is dismal,
and he's trying to get like the sort of just like some sort of notice from his teachers, and his teachers start just putting up the nose to him.
Yep, because he's not the top student anymore.
He's not the top student anymore, and Mandark is. But thankfully for plot device, Mandark has something of a secret crush on Dee.
Yep,
which is his fall.
It's his weakness.
Yeah. And Dexter picks up on it, and Dexter actually uses candy to lure. Again, another Seth MacFarlane joke, actually, when you think about it. He puts candy outside of Didi's room and leads her to Mandark's house. And Didi's doing the all, bit of candy, piece of candy, piece of candy.
Yep, exactly. And leads to his lab, right?
Yep.
And as expected.
Yeah, Mandark asks if she likes to tango, and she goes, "Oh Christ, yes I do," and just starts smashing everything with Mandark as sort of like a baseball bat.
Yep.
And Dexter's watching on the security cam, just like, it's nice to have you back, computer. Dexter, just like, and he holds up like a little wine glass to the computer, and the computer just puts a little wine glass on the screen. And all you use this little electronic tink.
But yeah, but it was also the episode where Mandark also proclaimed himself the enemy of Dexter,
Yes.
and then did his bowl cut,
Yeah.
quite literally,
Hmm.
including the little broken chip off the bowl.
Yes.
Now, another thing with Mandark, do we see his family in an episode at all, or is it a different episode down the line where we get to meet his family?
Way on down the line. I think it's season 3 we get
Mhm.
to meet Mandark's family.
And it's just it comes as one of those freaking enormous shockers because his family is,
Say it with me.
you remember,
Yes, I do.
hippies.
Yep. Reminiscence of the 1969 area of Woodstock.
Hmm. Oh my God, are they hippies though? Just even Woodstock would kind of turn and say, "Okay, man, chill."
Yeah. You're going a little out there, dude. But
Uh,
it's also where we get to find out that Mandark's name is not exactly Mandark, it's Susan.
yep. Oh God, I forgot about that.
Oh god, the rage if you call Mandark Susan.
Susan. It's just it's amazing though because you actually see this hippie stuff and it's just you kind of turn your head about 180 degrees and like, huh? But hippies, Mandark hippies, what?
Yep. It's a
The
good
show had a
swerve,
really good
ain't
way of
it?
doing that.
It's a
Yeah.
clever swerve because you don't
Hmm.
expect it. You expect Mandark's family to sort of be in relation to like Dexter's,
Kind
where
of evil.
you say sort of more. Think of like Pete from Goof Troop.
Well, yeah, yeah.
Kind of like that, more like that family. You would think there would be more Mandark, but no, hippies. And it's just like, oh, that
And
was
they're some of the
unexpected.
coolest people.
Hmm.
They're very very nice people. But if you're gonna make a comparison, like they are to Mandark what a little bit what DD is to Dexter, if you will. But he just doesn't want anything to do with them.
Yeah, yeah. That's yeah. I would say that was a very, very funny point. Yeah.
Hmm. Ah, okay. So we've gone through those. What are some other ones?
What characters that end up in the show?
For the main show, because I want to talk about the interstitial and little skits later on.
Mhm. I can't think if there's any of like main priority characters that should end up in the show that sort of
I
became
know
regulars. Again, because you're only working on sort of like a 15 minutes per episode. Uh, Dexter's
that's
Lab.
true.
So it's nice to sort of keep it to sort of just like that sort of family
Mhm.
surrounding.
Yeah,
That way you don't have to like, oh, we got this other character. We need to sort of try and build in some plot device to this character now. Because he
fair
can't get
enough.
really help. He can really get out of hand at that point, and then you sort of like taken away from the main characters in order to try and develop a new character, and that new character may not get over.
So basically, what you're telling me is they didn't want to go the Silver Hedgehog route.
Pretty much,
They didn't want to turn into. They didn't want to just make the series Sonic.
exactly.
For the love of God, Sonic Team, quit adding new characters. Just stop. Work with what you have.
We can talk
Uh,
about other excuse me,
the
other
the
variation little.
the other stuff that was in aside from the main cartoon itself.
Mhm. The other variants of different episodes or sort of like shows that they tied in with Dexter's Lab. For
Hmm.
example, Dial M for Monkey.
M for monkey. Yep. Basically, Dexter was doing an experiment on monkey and basically turned him into super monkey. Yeah.
No, 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 not quite.
Oh, what exactly happened? I don't remember
Monkey.
the origins of.
The origins of Monkey was it was meant to be used as a test subject by Dexter. Dexter was trying to look for some sort of abnormal superpower from Monkey. But with Dexter running through the tests, he couldn't find anything. Basically,
Yeah.
all his test results came out negative. To
Okay.
which Dexter just replied as, "I guess you'll be nothing more than the biggest stupid monkey." And then it just cuts to this point of where sort of like secret agent government calls in through sort of telepathy,
Oh,
and you find out that Monkey is actually a
Monkey.
superhero.
Okay. Okay, so he already had powers. All
Yeah,
right.
Monkey already had his powers. It was just a case of so well hidden away that can't be even detected by Superboy Genius Dexter.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so he does his various things to save the day and all that stuff.
Yeah,
I don't remember much about Dolly M for Monkey. I just remember it was there.
yeah. Well, how Italian Monkey came around. Tarkovsky, again, the producer and director of Dexter's Laboratory, he was a huge avid fan of superheroes.
Yeah.
He loved reading, Marvel and DC,
Hmm.
and that's what helped him to actually build up in order to actually speak English, because Tarkovsky is actually Russian.
Yeah, with a last name like that.
Yeah. So that's what he said. He said that's what helped him to learn English was his comic books that he got in, and that was his homage to them, because he loved sort of that superhero world, uh, and all the characters that he built into the show were reminiscence of superheroes from the comics.
Hmm.
Dial M for Monkey was an original character, but Dial M for Monkey also fell in with the Justice Friends.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah,
Uh, and
where they were
Justice Friends is something I do remember.
where they were mixed both and matched both of them in, because the Justice Friends was essentially the League of Superheroes or something, but
Justice League.
the Justice League. Thank you. Where you would have Major Glory or
Hmm.
Major Glory,
Glory.
who was
And then
the Captain America with a bit of
analog.
Superman mixed to him.
Hmm. And then there
You
was your
There was
what?
Valhallen.
Valhallen. That's what that I knew it was Val something.
Yeah,
But yeah, Valhallen.
Valhallen, who was the god of rock.
Exactly.
We,
He was your Norse mythology and all
yeah,
that.
essentially he was Thor, but instead, god of rock. And then there was
Yeah.
the infraggable Krunk.
Yes, the infraggable Krunk, and oh my God, did I enjoy him as a character because
Yeah,
he was a Hulk, but God, he was dumb as
it
hell.
was goofy as sin. It wasn't a rage Hulk. It was just like goof.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, except if you want to watch Puppet Pals.
yeah. Oh,
TV Puppet
Puppet
Pals,
Pals,
TV
TV,
Puppet
Puppet
Pals.
Pals, lots of fun for guys and gals.
Guys and girls.
Oh God, did he go with shit over that show?
And I remember one particular episode of it. It revolved around they all want to watch something on TV at the same time, and they end up breaking the TV.
Yeah.
And he just flips his shit and stuffs them in the TV and makes them start acting out puppet pals.
Yep.
Oh my God, I love that because I still remember just, hey, Puppet Pal Clam, do you know what day it is? No, Puppet Pal Mitch, what day is it? It's Bonk Day. Bonk.
uh, but
and
yeah,
then,
he was
and,
he
and
was.
then,
Sorry,
I'm
you go.
sorry. Later on, I ended up seeing his YouTube. I think it was a YouTube poop thing or something like that.
Mm.
But they're doing that. What day is it? Garbage day.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
don't get it.
but it was interesting with the Justice Friends because they built it as a American sitcom, and you would think American sitcom children's cartoon would mix. It does
No,
it.
they did.
Oh my! It did greatly here.
Well, because it's not just a sitcom. It's a sitcom about cartoon superheroes.
Yeah,
And I mean,
and
okay, the whole thing keeps playing. You see them, with their various powers, and then a light bulb burns out. How do they fix the light bulb?
Well,
They're
that's it.
superheroes.
It's how they mention it in the actual introduction. It's just like the Justice Friends, the League, the League of the most top extraordinary superheroes of all time, and then it's just like, but now they have to deal with the everyday life.
Exactly. And just how much they fuck it up.
Yep.
That is the best thing.
But yeah, just getting back to Dial M for Monkey as well, because that was the
Mhm,
tie-in with Monkey. But Monkey did have his
mhm.
sort of like his own episodes as well on the side.
Yeah, he did.
I'm just trying to think of Simeon. You remember Simeon?
I don't think so.
No. It's Simeon becomes sort of like is a high class monkey who
Hmm.
wants to re-alter the world so everyone is sort of becomes smart as opposed to
Just humans or
that
whatever.
generalistic sort of dumb stereotype American or whatever it may be.
Hmm.
Um, and that's Simeon. He wants to live the high life. He wants to sort of be better than everyone. Um,
Okay.
but the thing is that um, he doesn't see himself better as everyone because he doesn't realize who he is exactly now.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
because he's just so under wrap with what he's doing, and he thinks it's always the right thing to do. And it's until the end where Monkey sort of points out his flaws, that Simeon's sort of just like, what have I become, sort of thing.
Hmm.
And Monkey offers him to sort of readapt to his roots. So he tells him to like drop the smoker's jacket and the fancy foods and stuff, and go and tells him to just go live out in the jungle.
Hmm.
And it's like the perfect send off for him because it's just like I've been given another chance, sort of thing.
It's one of those things where it could be dark, but they just completely turn it around.
Yeah. Interesting thing about Simeon as well, it's the same voice actor who voiced the Brain from Pinky and the Brain.
Oh, okay.
Again, getting back
I
into
guess
them,
that makes sense.
getting back into them tie-ins with
Other
if you're
cartoons and
working on
other
yeah
people.
if you're working on Dexter's Lab, you've got yourself a boundary to work from. It's the
Hmm.
golden ticket.
Well, boy, was it ever. Well, and not only is it a golden ticket to get away from it and everything, but a lot of people end up wanting to work on it too.
Oh yeah,
Because with Animaniacs, that was around before Dexter's Lab, wasn't it?
it was, and again, it was that sort of production with Warner Brothers that everyone wanted to get into that show, but Warner Brothers was a little bit more strict to their
Hmm.
actual rules of who they were going to actually put on the show.
Yeah.
Whilst again, Cartoon Network and Hanna-Barbera, because they were more lenient and actually trying to build more of an influence, they're just like, oh,
Build
okay,
talent.
yeah, build talent. That's what essentially Cartoon Network was in the sort of like the mid
Mhm.
'90s. They were a talent factory for the next generation, and
Boy, oh boy, were they.
yeah, and it's kind of it's kind of sad to sort of like reminisce back on it now, and you're just like, okay, they're still doing it, thankfully, but it's not
Yeah.
heavy. It's not as heavy endorsed anymore.
No, it's they sadly they kind of made their money, and for a while it just seemed like they weren't putting anything worthwhile out.
hmm Again,
And
it's because when the new millennium came around, everything started faltering into sort of like reality shows. Everything has to be more
hmm
based around.
extreme.
Well, Extreme was '90s actually.
I still remember it carried on into the early 2000s as well.
It did. But again, it was sort of like the reality era, and
Mm.
everything was a case of it couldn't be animation anymore. No, it had to be influenced by child actors or whatever. And this is unfortunately that's what
Uh,
happened because you look back at
mhm.
Disney Channel, you look back at Nickelodeon,
Actually, you're right.
and just a pile of crap that they just pulled out from their ass. And it's just like, oh, this will sell.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I'll tell you why. Is because they were having successes
Mm,
with things like All That, the Amanda Show, They were having successes with those
That's
things.
so
And
Raven. I'm not saying that all of them were
yeah,
like terror bad, but it's
well, no,
just
no,
like
no, no.
you look at them and
But that's
you
why
just
it
think,
changed.
yeah,
That's why everybody started doing them because we're like, oh, well, we don't just have to do cartoons. We can do this. And oh, this is selling. So let's do nothing but this because people don't want to watch cartoons anymore.
such a downfall.
Yeah. And you're right. I remember one of my friends posting a thing online about it good few years back, before the reboot of actually cartoons started happening because they were just like, okay, so you have this channel on TV called Cartoon Network
Hmm?
and they don't show cartoons.
Nope,
What the fuck?
they moved into the more again, like I said, child actor sitcom,
Yeah, yeah.
and
But
it
they
just
did eventually.
it was just really confusing.
Yeah. Thankfully, though, they recovered. They probably lost a lot of money due to the whole child sitcom thing, and they decided. I'm guessing they decided to have another kind of not quite cartoon type thing, but a more open house thing. Is that okay? We like this. Let's try it out.
Hmm.
Because then we got things like was there was there a show called Chowder? I can't
Chowder,
remember. I
yes,
think so.
yes, Chowder,
Yeah,
the purple cat
and
who loved food.
yeah, and that was a Cartoon
Garfield.
Network thing, yeah. But that was a Cartoon Network thing, right?
Yes, it was. You are correct.
Uh, I remember something about oh god, I can't remember what it was. Something about a pirate kid and candy or something like that.
The Adventures of Flapjack.
Yes, that one, which I never got to see any of, but I heard was really good.
Again, it was
And
one
then
of
we know,
the Adventures of Flapjack was one of them really good, but a lot of really creepy scenes. Again, if
yeah,
the Adventures of Flapjack was trying to follow down the line of SpongeBob, if I recall.
SpongeBob. Yeah, I was just thinking that because well, if you people watch YouTube poops, of course you're going to come across the hyper realistic Squidward, Mr. Krabs, SpongeBob, and everything else.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. But and then moving forward, now Cartoon Network's kind of back almost into a second golden era of like the Amazing World of Gumball. I
Regular
can't
show.
remember. Yeah, regular show is Adventure Time. Yeah, Adventure Time's on
Adventure
Cartoon
Time
Network,
is,
isn't it?
but yeah, Adventure
Yeah,
Time is Cartoon Network. Uncle
and
Grandpa.
and Uncle Grandpa. Oh, and Steven Universe. My God, if you SSGD, if you haven't seen Steven Universe, you need to be watching that. It is
Yeah.
a fantastic show.
Oh, I haven't seen. I didn't even know such thing existed.
It is one of those. It feels a little bit like a New Age Powerpuff Girls, but not so much the zaniness of the Powerpuff Girls, just almost like a reverse type thing. You know how they live with the professor?
Hmm.
It's basically more like the young boy living with three adult superheroes, if you will.
Okay.
And he's got powers himself, but he's
Yeah,
young, has
sort of like a
burned out and
superhero in
stuff.
training.
The Marvelous Miss Adventures of Flapjack. Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah, the Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack. And
But
they always wanted to get to Candy Island.
yeah, okay. I remember seeing like half of an episode of China's Buffet once. They had it up for the kids.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean nowadays you have just this wonderful amount of things to choose from, and other channels are following suit. Like Disney's been putting out some decent stuff recently, and then the most recent thing is Gravity Falls,
Yeah,
which I'm heavily enjoying
I've heard
watching.
so much great things about that, and I still haven't watched an episode. Just like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's worth it.
good job, me.
Well, but the trouble is with some of these is just finding them online. I mean, it's taking time to find them and remembering that they're there too.
Yes.
Ah,
We're
but
sort of
going back
we're
to
going a bit off track here. We're sort of like
yeah.
flipping the channels in, just like, oh, other networks.
Well, yeah. But based on just doing a tie-in that we were almost coming into a second renaissance for cartoons. So, I mean, we had the initial stuff,
Hmm.
and then we had the Cartoon Network era, and now we're coming in. I guess it's a third era, but second renaissance.
Yes, yes, I'd
But
say
going
that.
back to Dexter, though, going back to
Going
Dexter.
back to Dexter. Actually, just before we go back to Dexter as well, Tackleman mentioned that apparently once again Cartoon Network was going to go down the live action route.
They're
Yeah,
gonna do it again?
yeah, which just makes me wonder. Just it makes me wonder, did you not learn?
No, obviously they didn't. What they're doing is they're following a dollar.
Probably.
It's a the dollar saying, "Go down the right path, go down the right path," and they're like, "But the cartoons are down the left path. Go down the right path." Yes, Almighty Dollar. Whatever you say, Almighty Dollar.
Hi, Candy.
Love me. Yes, Mr. Washington. Whatever you say, Mr. Washington.
But yes, officially getting back to Dexter now. Dexter was a TV series that again like to get crap underneath the radar,
Hmm.
beyond the actual censorships and stuff.
Oh God, yes.
One of the most infamous ones, and I'm not talking about the one that came out years later thanks to Adult Swim. I'll get to that soon.
Right.
Was a Dial M for Monkey episode called and I can't remember the bloody name now, but it was based on Galactus, Eater of Worlds. Barbecue,
Oh
that's it.
wow.
Barbecue.
Barbecue Worlds.
Yeah, Barbecue of Worlds. And you know the Silver Surfer was the assistant to Galactus in the comics.
Yeah.
Here they have a character called the Silver Spooner.
Oh.
And yes, it was a stereotype gay character.
Welp.
Silver Spooner was introduced by stealing the condiments from Darling from Monkey's birthday party because Krunk wanted mustard on his hot dog or burger or whatever it was and couldn't find the mustard. And realized that Silver Spooner had nicked it, and the reason why Silver Spooner had nicked all the condiments is because Barbecue wanted them for his feast of eating the planets.
Hmm.
And it's that typical whilst Silver Spooner's flying around on his silver spoon, it's just like you
Hmm.
don't bother, darling. You'll never defeat Barbecue, the Eater of Worlds.
Of course.
And it even gets to a point of
Oh.
when Monkey catches up with him, Silver Spoon grabs hold of him and starts bitch slapping him. Typical backhand, like "oh, you monster"
Yeah.
sort of thing. So yeah, that got a lot
I
of
need to see
that got
that
a lot of
episode.
flack. It's
I
it,
bet it did.
yeah, it's up online still, but the network did sort of cut it quite an awful lot of times.
Oh, I bet they did. What that reminds me of is okay. You know the old Bugs Bunny cartoons way back when they first aired. They were super duper racist in a lot of cases, and so what they ended up doing was editing. Like I remember there was one episode that Bugs Bunny was just basically fucking with this black dude, and later on they ended up just editing Elmer Fudd into it instead.
Yeah,
Because if you look at the original cartoon, the guy actually looks like Elmer Fudd.
but
So it was a very simple matter for him to just go back and edit him out and Fudd in.
mm-hmm.
And really, it's kind of the same thing nowadays. Of the whole gay thing back then might not have been as bad, but then people throw. As time goes on, people throw a fit about it, and they have to edit it down. Isn't it interesting how history kind of repeats itself like that?
Oh yeah, crazy, very
Mhm.
crazy. And other
What were
episodes.
they thinking?
What were they thinking?
It was a good show. Uh, what else were you gonna go on to though? I think I interrupted you.
Other specific scenes that sort of got under the radar was the decoder rings.
Oh,
The episode involves Diddy and Dexter eating different variations of breakfast cereals. Dee Dee's got the My Little Pony spin-off, and
Oh, of course.
Dexter's got the Action Hank, um, sort of like Mr. T cereal, yeah.
Yeah.
And they get decoder rings, and they're in the back of the box. And what the decoder rings is a challenge of if they can decode the puzzles, then they get into the official fan clubs for their representatives, yeah.
Hmm.
And during one scene, whilst they're figuring out how to like work the decoder, Didi just turns to Dexter and goes, "You know, this challenge is on, but just remember, Dexter, your um your club is for ICDKs." And Dexter's going, ICDK. I'm telling Mom. Do you get it?
Oh, not I get the I see the
ICDK. Rearrange the letters.
okay. Well, see, no. I thought it was one of those jokes of I see what now.
No, no, no.
Oh
It was
wow.
just DD just spelling dicks in a different variation.
I'm sorry. What was this phrase you said again?
Just remember, your club is for ICDKs.
And that made it through.
Yep, that made it
Dear
through.
God,
It's
that's
weird
wonderful.
because again, as a child, I remember watching that episode and I didn't get it because I was like, yo, just like maybe it's something to do with the actual decoding because I know decoding was always like letters representative to numbers. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But just years later when I was watching him back and just like I see, just like hold on, dicks. Wait, what?
Oh, they're so clever.
Yeah.
I mean, really, honestly, kids aren't going to get it until they go back and watch it when they're older.
Oh yeah.
By then, it's fine.
Um. But yeah, that episode
What
was
else?
hilarious for when the clubs sort of come across one another, Action Hank and the My Little Pony spin-offs. And there's a brilliant scene where Action Hank picks up one of the ponies and just starts gut punching it. But yeah, it was other crap that got past the radar. One episode was revolved around Dexter wanting to become more rugged, uh,
Ah, of course.
and he lasers a beard onto his face.
Right, because that's how that works.
Yeah, and it plays out like a Shaft, the Shaft film, where it's just Dexter doing his
Oh
strut
God.
down the street, everyone turning around, and Dee Dee just like picks someone and just like that's one rugged. Don't you shut your mouth. I'm just talking about Dexter. Then we can dig it. But there's a scene in that where Dexter's accidentally seen as like an Action Hank character, and he's thrown into a SWAT team development where he has to take down a group who are dealing flour. But the flour is it's that sort of reminiscence of this. It's supposed to be cocaine,
Yeah, of course it is. It's
but
flour.
they throw it out as flour instead, just to keep it keep the network happy.
Work safe. Yeah.
And it plays on the ideas of just like we're going to make a lot of bread with this, just awful puns. And like guys saying, "Yeah, we're going to get a lot of dough out of this."
Yeah.
Just like,
Yeah, of
oh god,
course.
the bread puns stop.
No, stop the puns. They're
But yeah,
killing me.
the scene actually shows it because you watch like films where when they're handing over the cocaine, don't cut open the bag with like a penknife or whatever.
Hmm.
They were doing
They
that
did that.
again with like
Oh
the
God.
butterfly knife. Sorry, they were just doing that same sort of scene essence, but they were just like dubbing it over, just like, oh no, it's okay, it's just flour.
Oh, okay. So, once you're done with these examples, I have a thing I need to ask you.
Okay, I do have one
Are
more
you
example. I do have one more
Yeah.
example. It's a short one.
Hmm.
It's actually one of my favorite episodes. This one as well. It's a winter episode where Dee Dee's pummeling Dexter with snowballs. And one scene shows Dexter using variation of bases to try and get back into his own house.
Oh
And
God.
he sort of does like a quick dash, hides behind someone's legs, and he goes face base. Scene pans up. It's a guy and a girl kissing. Guy leans over and goes, I know what you mean, kid."
Nice.
But yeah, I love that
Oh, I
episode
love
because
this.
it's a relation back to Dexter's dad episode where Dexter's dad teaches Dexter the ways of how to snowball like a professional.
Yeah. Oh God, that was it was just a great show through and through.
Hmm. But yeah, just getting back to that. It was just a nice build up to sort of like the family values. It wasn't a case of, oh,
Mm,
hi mom, hi dad, doing your general routines. Yeah, okay. No, they actually got involved in a lot of episodes, and that was brilliant because it wasn't a case
yeah.
of, oh, a dad episode. No.
Okay, no, no. Good example actually. It wasn't the whole Fairly Odd Parents parents. They
Correct.
were just there,
Correct.
just for a cheap joke here and there.
Hmm.
No, they were actually a part of the show.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Someone said actually I think it was third base.
Third base with the where the legs pan up.
Yeah, either way. Hell, third base just makes it more inappropriate.
Hmm. Remember the episode that goes, "Blondes always have more fun"? I don't actually. I'm not saying that's probably a line from one of the episodes, but I don't recall that
Hmm.
one.
All right.
Oh,
Uh,
just the scenarios what they had with a lot of these episodes. Another one what I enjoyed was when Dexter goes to a convention, his friends, and they're dressed
mhm.
up as Star Trek characters,
Oh God.
and they have to buy a mint condition in the box replica figure.
Hmm.
And it's supposed to be a woman behind the table who's selling them, but they give him a mime voice. Just
Oh, of course.
just like, are you gonna stand around my
What do you
table or
want,
are you gonna buy
sweetheart?
something?
You're not. You come on, buy some. You're not window shopping.
Precisely that
Just
voice, yes.
exactly. It's Doctor Girlfriend, if you will.
Yeah.
Oh, Monarch.
Oh, Racco.
Yeah, there you go. Um, I keep having this one thing that keeps slipping away. Okay, so oh no, now I remember. Uh, just for example of how far they also go for a joke though, was the burrito episode.
Oh, the burrito episode, yeah.
Yeah, where Dexter, he eats a giant burrito and everything, and what was it? Pressure starts building him or something like that. He thinks he's gonna die, and so he doesn't end up like running all these tests, and then eventually confronting his parents. I've got something very serious to tell you. And
And
when
he
he's
just
about to
blows
tell him,
gas.
he just the entire episode was a build up to a massive fart joke,
Yeah.
and it was wonderful. It
Nobody
was
sh
it was one of the
Sorry.
nope. Well, let me finish real quick. It's
Yep.
like everybody thinks fart jokes are just a really cheap throw, but when you have that much build up to it, it is perfect.
Yeah.
Now go on.
Yeah, I'm just getting back to Nobody Shot. I really remembers the convention one, the NRFB, never removed from box. And Power Pro Demands just remind us all of the other controversy, which was Dad's trophy.
Yes, trophy.
It's the episode where Dee Dee hides the molecule for Dexter's reading lamp.
Hmm.
And if Dexter doesn't get it back, then the reactor that's supposed to contain the molecule could potentially blow up.
Ah, okay.
And Dee Dee plays it as a sort of find the clues guessing game. So, whilst one of the clues was he had to go around to visit the next door neighbor, and
Uh-huh.
whilst Dexter's visiting the next door neighbor, she goes into the kitchen to get some cookies for Dexter, and she inadvertently drops one on the floor, and she leans over, and Dee Dee somehow managed to write on her backside "Dad's trophy" as the next clue.
Wow. Oh man,
But
that's
yeah,
fantastic.
someone made a gif of where it's her leaning over, dropping the cookie, then it says "Dad's trophy," and it's just this like this smug Dexter leaning, just like that ass sort of face.
Okay, so the thing I was going to ask you, did this show, since I know you are a purveyor of the animation fuck ups in various things, did this show have any of those epic cell fuck ups or anything like that?
Unfortunately, I don't recall any indexes. It definitely had points of where he might have like missed sort of like a continuity with colors. So, oh, I do remember one big fuck up what they done.
Hmm. Do
And
tell.
it was supposed to be one of the colors what they didn't actually color in. The episode was where Dexter's trying to get back into his own laboratory because both Dee Dee and Dexter have been grounded, but as further punishment, they have to switch the rooms. So Dexter has to stay in Dee Dee's room. Dee Dee has to stay in Dexter's room, which flips out Dexter because he starts thinking that Dee Dee's messing around in the laboratory, destroying everything.
Hmm.
So what
Right.
Dexter does as a revenge is he flips out, starts tearing open Dee Dee's sort of stuffed animals, and to get through the air vents, he covers himself in all like the fluff and that. But he has to take off his own clothes as well, so he covers himself in the fluff to try and slide on through.
Yeah.
And when he breaks into his own room, he finds out that Dee Dee's just been sleeping all the time. Uh, he's lost all the fluff with the exception of one part of fluff that's supposed to be over his
Cover,
genitalia to cover it, the cover of the for the censorship thing.
over his
One
over his
of
silly
the
willy.
Yeah, one of the colorists who was supposed to color it in for white forgot to color it in, so
Oh.
it was colored flesh. So you
Oh.
could see the black outlines of it was supposed to be fluff, but it's flesh colored.
Oh. I bet that was special.
Yeah. I'm just running back through the Takomon. Yeah.
Yeah, the blondes have more fun thing. I see that one.
Oh yes, I remember that episode now. Yeah.
Wow. The entire episode dedicated to that concept.
Except, yeah. I
Wow.
think I'm sure that's the episode where it ends where Dexter ended up kissing the butt of a duck with lipstick.
Oh, I think I remember that.
Did you?
Oh God.
It's hilarious looking back at it because I remember that the animators drew the duck where with this just sort of like satisfied smile.
uh, okay,
Oh,
so
another big thing that got past the radar as well. Do you remember the episode Ghostfish?
uh-uh.
I don't think that was the actual
Okay,
title of the
I forgot
episode, but yeah.
to
Sorry.
I forgot to mention this at the beginning is I didn't actually get to watch that many Dexter episodes.
Yeah. I'm just trying to pick it to see if there was anything that you could remember
Mhm.
from like an earlier variations of
But
episodes. But if you can't, that's fine.
go ahead and tell. Go ahead
Um,
and tell what this one was.
the goldfish one is where the family pet, the goldfish, dies, and
Mm.
as tradition, you support. They believe that you're supposed to flush the body of the goldfish down the toilet. Yeah,
Yeah.
Dee Dee doesn't like that idea and thinks it's too gross. So what she does is she leaves the fish on top of the urinal. Sorry, the toilet, because it's not a urinal. It's kind of a
Yeah.
different thing. Um, and Dexter's trying to grab it, and obviously because he's 4 foot nothing height, he's just like he can't reach the top of
Can't do
the
anything.
toilet. He can't do anything. And Dee Dee says, "Okay, we'll give it a proper traditional burial in the garden tomorrow morning." And the scene cuts to where the soul of the goldfish comes out from the body and starts to haunt Dexter. And
Wow.
it's actually it gets kind of creepy because the goldfish actually manages to take away Dee Dee and stuff her down the toilet. To a
But
point of where Dexter can only get back in contact with Dee Dee if he turns on the shower, and it sort of shows this like rain sort of embodiment, this water embodiment of Dee Dee, just like Dexter, help me, sort of thing.
wow.
To which Dexter actually has to find a way on how to knock the fish into the toilet and flush it as a
Hmm.
trade to get Dee Dee back.
Right.
He manages to do it, and it cuts like to almost the end of the episode where it's just Dexter and Dee Dee covered in toilet water, and the dad's got up for the morning with a newspaper in hand. He
Hmm.
opens the door and he just goes, "What are you kids doing here? Don't you know that this is Dad's only time?" It's supposed to be like a reference of like a masturbation joke.
Yeah, yeah, I got that.
Yeah,
So,
it's
do we want to open
it's
the?
actually again. I've just reminded myself of another one. The
Mhm.
coffee episode.
Why don't you go ahead and tell people about it? Because I got poop.
Okay, this is Dad's family time. The coffee episode where it starts off with Dex's mom and dad just completely out of it, completely wrecked. They've only just got up in the morning, and Dexter and Dee Dee's sort of like watching them as they sort of slowly shuffle across the floor into the kitchen, pick up the pot of coffee, put it on boil, get the coffee, start drinking the coffee, and suddenly it's just like the spark of life. They're not in the sort of like dressing gown and the fluffy bunny slippers anymore. No, suddenly they're just like as if by magic they're in their own attire and clothes, and they're just so alive and fresh and just like happy to see one another. Which confuses Dexter and Dee Dee because they're wondering what this coffee is all about. And it's a case of where they start daring one another to try and drink the coffee. Dexter, obviously falling for the trap of Dee Dee, drinks the coffee first, and he doesn't realize any difference. It's sort of like, yeah, it tastes a bit bitter, until it does the scene where um, Dexter's eyes sort of like dilate and in just like this big Cheshire cat grin on his face. Is the caffeine's kicked in, and Dee Dee does the same thing, where she gets all hyperactive and that, and then it just cuts this like sort of 2 minute scenario of where Dexter and Dee Dee's both in the rooms just having like the best of all times, where Dexter's doing everything that Dexter wants to do in his lab, and Dee Dee's just playing with all the toys and stuff. And there's often cut-ins of where they'll have to go back to the kitchen where the caffeine's worn off. They get the new coffee, drink it. They've got the spark of life again, and that's how the episode runs until the very end, where they've run out of coffee. And the parents sort of get up again for the morning, doing the old shuffle, you look like a mess sort of thing, and they're looking for coffee. And either just this sort of mental breakdown that they have when they realize that there's no coffee left in the house. Until it cuts to a scene where they open up a special cupboard in the kitchen, and there's a Mexican with a pack horse in there with finely granuled beans, ready for them to transfer and make into coffee. just just insanity at times with this with how, again, how shit got past the radar. Anyways, if anyone's got any on their own sort of memories of Dexter's Lab episode, please by all means insert it into the chat, and I'll try and hopefully remember it myself. Because I'm just trying to think of things here right now. Hey, you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
I've just finished off telling the story there.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it sounded like you were doing what I was planning on doing, which is kind of open up the floor of discussion for, like, episode or anything you remember about the show, or if you want to get in the call, we've got slots open for that too.
Oh, Body Shell just reminded me of Dexter Boy. Dexter Boy Genius. Dexter's a cookie. Dexter's a cookie. The robotic parrot episode.
I don't get.
Dexter's secret.
Oh.
Dexter's secret. Dexter's secret.
Yeah, didn't Mom end up getting into a fight with Robo Mom at one point or something like that?
I think that was an episode. I can't recall that one.
I'm pretty sure I remember that.
Remember the mechs? Yes, that was an interesting one. The mechs episode. Is this the one where Dexter actually has to show his parents his hidden lab? And they
there was actually an episode of that?
There was an episode like that. It was a full 30-minute episode where they have to save the world, and Dexter can't do it without having additional help. So Dexter actually has to unleash his laboratory to his parents and show them.
Mm-hmm. And what ended up happening in that one?
Well, getting back to sort of like Tarkovsky's sort of influence to things, he loved Japanese animation.
Mm-hmm.
And again, because this is big robot mechs that fight one another, he sort of done it in sort of like the essence of Power Rangers.
Nice.
Where Dexter has many vehicles for each of his family, and if they combine together, you get the Megazord.
Of course.
Mandak did have a mech as well, because Mandak picked up on the news as well of trying to save the universe, but Mandak sort of got like sidetracked with something else.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah,
so it was one of those he couldn't be there things.
He was there, but he was sort of just like it was a joke where he was just sort of swatted off to one side and just like, oh no, I've been defeated, sort of thing.
Nice. And see, nobody's mentioned Last But Not Beast. Was that one of the episodes or something like that?
Last But Not Beast. Possibly.
It sounds like an episode title.
It sounds like an episode like title. It certainly does. I tell you what would be a good thing to talk about here: the actual quotes from the show that you can remember, like you were mentioning before with "You are stupid." Because I'm sure this is one of everyone's favorite episode as well. The omelette du fromage.
Omelette du fromage. I never actually got to see that one, but I know you guys had lots of fun one night when I was streaming saying that.
Oh god, it is the best thing. It's Dexter has to learn French for a test tomorrow.
Oh no.
And he builds himself a learning machine that he wears whilst he's sleeping, and it's an old vinyl record that's playing with the French.
Oh no.
I was just listening, and he ends up on skip. It's just omelette du fromage, omelette du fromage, omelette du fromage. And that's the only thing he can remember when he wakes up, and that's the only thing he can say, which was another phrase. That's all you can say. That's all you can say.
Omelette du fromage. Oh, okay. If there's one thing I need to do, I need to get a torrent of this or something like that, or find it online somewhere and just watch it start to finish.
Hmm. Yeah, Mandak's laugh. The ha 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 ha, which is oh god.
See, what we need to do is we need to have the Mandark laugh. We need to have Scratch doing it. He's being more annoying.
I'm trying to think of other famous quotes from it.
Mhm. Yeah, I
One
can't
of my
help it.
one of my favorite ones from the Justice Friends. One didn't actually become a quote, but I laugh every time I hear it. It's the episode where they take down the disgruntled postman, who's a rip-off of the Joker.
Oh no.
And when Major Glory pops in and says his phrase, the disgruntled postman's like licking a stab, and he just leans over and he goes, "Major Glory?" And
Nice.
it just brilliantly done. It's like, "Major Glory?"
And I've seen it mentioned twice, but who's trying to sneak up on me apparently is one.
Yeah. Um, actually, I'll tell you what I'll jump to here. The Dexter movie, the TV movie, the 1.5 hour special Dexter
Dang,
episode.
I didn't know there was one of those.
Um, it's where Dexter wants to see what he will become in the future,
Hmm.
and he inadvertently drops his like greatest invention idea, and it ends up in the hands of Mandark.
Oh,
So
of course.
when Dexter travels to the future, it ends up like like Sonic CD. If you get bad future, it ends up like that.
Oh, yeah.
Ego trip. Thank you. And it's just interesting to see Dexter's variance of when he gets older, where Dexter turns into sort of like a wimpy, whiny little bitch
Hmm.
who's funnily enough a lot taller than the original Dexter. And then his next variant is he becomes sort of like the superhero for all, where he's very jacked up and
What is a multiple changes of the timeline episode or something?
it kind of, but it's like I said, it's like variants of how Dexter sort of grows until into his old age.
Mm.
So you have like young boy Dexter boy genius, and then you have wimpy can't stand up for himself genius. Then you have sort of like the rebirth of Dexter, where he becomes like all these
Oh,
superheroes that he followed as a child to become
okay.
the ultimate scientist badass. Till his last ending, where it's it's Grandpa again, Grandpa Dexter. Um,
Hmm.
and he starts. There's a great scene where when they leave and they're saying goodbye, Dexter, to one another. And
Hmm.
at the very end, in the whiny Dexter goes to Grandpa Dexter, "Goodbye, Dexter," and, and Grandpa Dexter goes, "Goodbye, Billy."
Nice.
But yeah, it's a great special, is it?
Mm. Proof that you can revisit time travel multiple times and actually have fun with it.
Hmm.
Uh,
It was also nice. It was sort of like also that further birth of Mandak, because they actually started building Mandak into sort of that more truly pure,
menacing.
the blackest of black of evil.
Well, man, dark.
Mandark, yeah,
Mm. All right. So, is there anything else you had on this? Because I
yeah.
think we.
Because what we've been talking about mainly is sort of like the early renditionals of Dexter, specifically like throughout season 1 and season 2.
Mhm.
When season 3 and season 4 came around, this is when Andy Tarkovsky left to go produce other series. And
Oh.
So Tarkovsky went to work on Samurai Jack and a few other things.
Right.
And this is where the animation style for Dexter changed completely.
For the better or
Because
worse? Yes, it was for the worse.
some of it's for the worst, some of it was not too bad for changes. Um, it was a, it was where Flash was starting to pick up as
Okay.
the animation tool, as opposed to all pen and ink.
All
A-
right.
And the characters in Dexter's laboratory became more streamlined, more pointy, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the backgrounds, there weren't sort of like these bright, colorful backgrounds anymore. There was sort of more. How can I state it? It's sort of like if you're using like cardboard stationery cutouts.
Ah, right.
But they're done in like a very fancy style.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, basically like your typical Flash movie background type things. Yeah.
yeah, and it's kind of a shame because even at Dexter's house, where it used to be like these bright yellows and purples and pinks and stuff, it became sort
Mm-hmm.
of more like this old grandpa house with wood furnishings. It was it just did not look.
Didn't mesh with what you remembered.
It just didn't mesh with what you remembered. It just did not look like the Dexter that you had seen previously as build up.
It is a
And
very very sudden change.
yes, and the actual writing for the episodes as well weren't as
Good.
memorable.
Mm-hmm.
There was no more of that sort of smarmy, alecky comedic timing with it. It was a case of we just need an episode to put out there. We'll just try and think of something.
And
And
so it started going to decline then.
it started going into decline, unfortunately, and it's a dire shame because
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the voice actors and the people who build up the characters, they were still doing the show, but you could tell that they were struggling at times because it's just like, no, I remember sort of like Dexter's dad of being like this character. It was more zany than this, and now he's just more, oh, hi
Hi, I'm
Dexter,
Dad.
I am Dad.
Please kill me.
Pretty much. And it is a crying shame that's how it went.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say there was still some good episodes here and there. It's just again, um,
Instead of being
what
mostly hits, they were mostly misses
this
for a
is
change.
again. It's that case of when your original creator and director leaves the show
The vision
because
is lost.
the vision's lost because you're giving it the hand of someone else,
Mm-hmm.
and they may
That's
they have excuse me, they have ideas of where to go with it, but it's not the vision that you want to be.
like I was saying. Damn it, Seth MacFarlane! It killed that show too.
Spam more zeros, bloop bloop.
Just to go slightly off topic and address Four Eyes White Dragon. Yes, this has actually come up in conversation before.
It
They're
does.
pretty much the same character. The
Um,
decline of Block Dexter.
Block Dexter, yeah. Dexter, that's the design for them. They were more blocky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is a shame. Oh, actually, you know what? I completely forgot. I keep seeing the commercial where Dexter's getting into the photo booth and everything,
Yeah.
and you see pictures of Blue from Foster Home for Imaginary Friends.
Yes.
That was a strangely transitory cartoon, actually, in that kind of bleak period, if you will.
Hmm. Yeah, but again,
I just want to touch on that.
yeah, but you can sort of be thankful for Craig McCracken on that because again,
Yeah.
Craig McCracken produced and directed the show. And if you're going off Powerpuff Girls from into that, then
hmm
if it was a good transition, especially for that sort
Yeah,
of,
it
as
was.
you've mentioned, bleak period.
It was. It was a desert when it came to cartoons.
Hmm.
But we already talked about that.
We already have,
So
yes.
Do you have anything else? Any other topics related to this?
Uh, Again, I'm just remembering all the classic episodes from Dexter's Lab, just flicking through my head here. I don't want to keep
Yeah.
talking about episodes because I want
Some
everyone
people
here.
might want to watch them.
Yeah, I want everyone here to go back to watch these episodes because
Mhm.
at no point at no point you will not enjoy a lot of what Dexter's Lab brought to the table.
Pretty much.
There's a reason, ladies and gentlemen, why Dexter's Lab, including the pilot of all things, won awards.
Hmm.
They were
Everybody should
they
watch this.
they they were nominated multiple times, and even if when they didn't win, the amount of times that they were nominated for must say something for them.
Yeah. Yeah. They went into decline as all things do, but for what was there, it was a show worth watching. I think we've done it justice today.
Mm,
I hope we have. So, if you guys, I'll put this out there since it sounds kind of like we're coming to the end of this. If you guys have any ideas that you'd like us to talk about sometime, go ahead and send us a tweet on Twitter or something like that, or send us a PM on Twitch here. Tell us during streams, something like that, and we'll see what we can do about it.
Even now, if you want to get in call and talk about your own memories, if you're willing to
Mhm.
do that, the lines are open.
Yeah,
We'll make
I
space for you.
we already had one offer on that, and nobody took it though.
Yeah, but I mean, we were still doing our own thing at that point, so
Well, no, I mean we literally said anybody wants to get in call, we're open for it.
okay, okay.
Yeah. I not only that, but that's kind of come up on time for me.
Ah, right.
So I'm gonna need to start calling off.
That's not okay. That's not a problem. Yeah.
Sorry.
The thing that I'm sort of semi disappointed about, because I hid a little secret in the footage that I've got to the right hand side here.
It was it George W. Bush?
No, no, that was actually part of the advertisement.
The car. I know. But you hid a secret in there.
Yeah.
What was your dark secret?
Okay, you know the introduction, the opening to Dexter's Laboratory.
Yeah.
I
Oh, was it Dee Dee's eyeball thing?
yeah, I edited so
Okay.
he looks like Lazy Eye.
Oh, okay. You want to know what's really sad?
Go on.
I could have seen that being a part of the show.
No, both of her eyes are supposed to move towards the door, but I lazy eyed.
Okay. I was wondering about that. Oh, hi, Dexter.
Memory
There it
lost.
goes again.
Memory lost too.
You did a good job at editing that.
Okay, well, actually, seeing that we're talking about endings, it's Derby before Derby. As we're talking about endings, the rolling credits to Dexter's Lab. You remember the voice of "Enter at your own peril, past the bolted door, where impossible things may happen with that the world has never seen before." Can you guess where that
No,
voice?
actually.
No, you don't recall that?
Ooh.
It was the same voice actor of Aku, and the voice who played Aku was Mako.
Interesting.
You remember?
I I know a coup, but
you might recall Mako as that guy during a lot of Nostalgia Critic reviews who kept popping up.
no.
No, he done the voice for the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splinter voice.
Wah.
No, that's Wario.
Wah. No, that's Waluigi.
Yes.
Sorry, all I know is Aku. I'm kind of lost on everything else. I
Okay,
live under a rock.
that's fine. It's okay. But yeah, you recall the voice of Aku, don't you? Just like that. I have you now, Samurai Jack, and I should put them on for. No, I'm just kidding.
No. I have you now, Samurai Jack. Aku time.
Aku time.
Oh, really? That's how what the future was. Well, that show it was Aku time. Everything was Aku.
But yeah,
Okay, I've completely lost at this point.
but the again, the other plans that I wanted to do, because I didn't want to exactly just talk about Dexter's Lab. I actually wanted to talk about Cartoon Network's cartoons, because again, with the originality of what they were producing out, there were so many variations of just new animation coming out at this period in time, and
Yeah.
everything was a hit pretty much, with the exception of
Uh,
one. With the exception of one that was an original cartoon, and that was Mike Lou and Og, but we don't talk about that.
oh, I don't. The name is familiar. I don't think I remember anything about it. I think I'm glad for that. But you know what? We've been going on about Dexter for 2 hours by itself. I think
Yes.
we can do the others justice at another point in time.
Mhm.
All right. Well, I am going to take my chance to say thank you all for showing up. Hope you like the podcast, and I'm saying Lucha out for you guys.
By all means, we'll be streaming again on a Tuesday. We'll be. I don't know what exactly we're playing on a Tuesday. I'm presuming you're going to be. Actually, no, you finished Don't Starve, didn't you?
No.
No.
I have nine word. You don't finish. Don't starve. I'm sorry. That is not a game
It's the
that is ever
game that
finished.
never. Yeah.
No. The okay. I've actually finished two games recently.
Okay.
One is Shovel Knight. That's the one I finished on Friday, and then I also finished with DDR with Mario yesterday.
Right. Okay.
Oh, sorry, I haven't finished. I should say.
Yeah.
Um, no, I've got other games that I can stream. I was actually planning on maybe doing a Don't Starve stream on Tuesday, but
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go then.
yeah, it's a toss up between that and a few other things. Oh God, there's another game I was playing recently. I can't think off the top of my head. It'll come to me later. But I was also thinking about maybe doing some more Blood Dragon.
Yeah. Okay. That's not a problem
Mhm. Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
Other things I've got to say before we go out as well. If you enjoy, again, if you
Mhm.
enjoy the show, the subscriptions buttons at the bottom. I'll get them words right yet. That
Yeah.
again, we're not forcing you to do so, but again, it's just one of them things. It leads you to hear it right away if you enjoy the show. If you want to see more of our weird, exotic, crazy crap that we do.
Actually, you know what? Before I go, SSGD, weren't you gonna start streaming on Tuesdays though?
Um, I was. That
Was
I was. Things may have to change for that.
okay. Fair. Oh, right. Life changes. Forgot about
Yeah.
those. All right.
Actually, I'll talk to you about such things off stream because,
Because
well,
private.
so it's somewhat private, but not essentially.
Yeah, well, it's aside from podcast.
Yeah.
Anyway, we should probably go ahead and cut it off here.
Okay.
Thanks again, guys.
Yeah. Stay well,
Lucha,
people, and remember, Dexter's a cookie.
lucha.